Before we get out of here, I was thinking about the other day because I was watching the Washington Wizards when Trae Young came back. I didn't watch it live. I watched it afterwards. Watching the Washington Wizards when Trae Young came back. And I was thinking to myself, how many coaching vacancies will be open this offseason? So let's kind of have let's have this conversation for the last little bit of today's episode. How many coaching vacancies will be there? And I don't know much of who's sitting on what bench, who's gonna be would be the top assistant turned head coach. But we did just have a great crop of guys between the last like 5 seasons ago, from Missoula to Ott, from who am I forgetting? JB Bickerstaff's always been here, but like some really good secondary guys that came up. Mitch Johnson, obviously, Mark Daigneault, like these guys over the last 5 years, young guys that were secondhand guys, some assistant coaches, and now getting an opportunity. I don't know who those guys are this year. Because I looked at the Eastern Conference. If there's any playoff team that I feel like might get a new coach, again, as we mentioned earlier, it will be Jamahl Mosley in the Orlando Magic. I don't know who their top assistant is over there. Would he just be promoted, or would they go outsource it? But I think there's a legitimate chance that the Orlando Magic go into this offseason with changing the coach and looking for their new head of the locker room as their number one priority. Cool. Then we get down further, and it's like, is there a world where Doc Rivers is out? I know Bucks fans, I'm waiting for the moment, but I don't know. Doc Rivers just feel like a guy that ends up staying around on whatever team he's coaching for like 2 years longer than what the consensus is. And it kind of feels like that's what's happening right now with Doc Rivers. So there is a world where Doc is fired. I guess it depends on what the hell happens with Giannis, but that's two possibles. That's two possibles. Billy Donovan is not getting, never mind. The Bulls are never going to get rid of Billy Donovan. But like Brian Keefe of the Wizards, do y'all feel like now that they have Trae Young and they have Anthony Davis that they're going to let Brian Keefe be the guy to start this new version of this team? I don't know if I've seen more than, I don't know, 2 interviews of Brian Keefe since he became from interim coach to head coach. Hey, I don't know. I don't know if Wizards fans like him. They hate him. Is he a good coach? Is he a bad coach? It's impossible to know when the team objective is to lose a ton of. Well, actually, it's not impossible to know, but it is tougher to know when the team's objective is to lose. Because like Jordy Fernandez, I think we know that Jordy Fernandez is a good coach, even though his team has 16 wins on the season. We saw it. We saw it last season, and maybe a little bit less this season, but we could agree that Jordy Fernandez at the end of the day is a guy that is a decent coach, a decent enough coach to get an opportunity when the team is starting to turn around. Then we go out west. I would be really surprised if any of the Western Conference playoff teams got rid of their coach. It would really have to do with like some people extremely underperforming. Like Chris Finch. Do y'all think Finchie's up if they lose in the first, second round this year? I don't think so, right? Conference finals appearance 2 out of the last 3 years. I feel crazy. But then again, Tom Thibodeau just got the first conference finals appearance in 25 years and he got canned. So you never really know, but I just feel like that's really low on the totem pole. I would be surprised. It seems like, the players still like him. Anthony Edwards still likes him, which I feel like is the thing that matters the most. So it would be weird if he did, but I guess not out of the realm possibility of all the other coaches in the top 7. If they had a bad season, like if JJ Redick and them lose in the first round, I don't think JJ Redick's getting fired. Jordan Knott is not getting fired. David Adelman just got the position, so he's not getting fired. Ime is not getting fired. Mitch Johnson, and Daigneault. So it really feels like of the top 6 out west, if there's anybody that would get canned if they had to underperform in postseason, it would potentially be Chris Finch, even if I think that would be a mistake. Then we get to 8 through 15, and I look at the Warriors, and I made this point on Numbers on the Board yesterday. But like, I think there's a world where Steve Kerr is just done. He played his part and he was amazing during the run. But as, Steph's career is getting towards the twilight and Draymond's getting towards the twilight, I wouldn't be surprised if he just decides not to stay around. He did a year ago say that he's going to be coaching his team as long as Steph Curry's there, which is probably the case. But I don't know. I be thinking about this pretty often. Like, Steve Kerr, objectively one of the biggest winners in the history of the sport as a player and as a coach, but he also did media before. He might want to get back into some media spots. So I don't know. I think that there is a world where Steve Kerr is gone and then they usher in some type of youth into that locker room.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.